going on, everybody? It's Steve, and today we're going to talk about Daddy Plan Part 2 with the draft. You know, I got into the finals last season, ended up losing to Tay 2-1. Decided I wanted to have some fun, so I was just going to draft a mean team with Shedinja in a Daddy Plan with a box of scraps. So a little bit about the Daddy Plan. If you don't know, everything that was played 2 or more times from last season is banned. Only have 95 points to draft 11 Mons, which means there's a lower general power level. I had 10th overall pick, and it's a snake draft, so there were 10 picks between my pick one way and 18 picks the other way. Shedinja, what do we want Shedinja for? Obviously for Wonder Guard, right? That's the ability that makes it not get hit by anything that's not super effective. It's got a usable attack stat of 90. It's got good support moves. Got listed there Ally Switch, Will-O-Wisp, Trick, Confuse Ray, Grudge can be used, Mud Slap can be used in draft. These aren't moves you'd typically expect to see. It's also got some fun stuff like Sandstorm, Rain Dance, Sunny Day, and it's slow enough to work in Trick Room. Some cons of Shedinja is that it dies in one hit without Focus Sash or Endure. It dies to Hail or Sand if you don't have Safety Goggles. And it dies to Burn, Poison, or Confusion if you don't have Safeguard or Misty Terrain or a Lumberry. And it's hit by easy-to-obtain move types. Rock, basically everything has Rock Slide. Fire, basically everything has Heat Wave. Ghost and Dark are less well-distributed, but still pretty abundant, especially in the Psychic, Ghost, and Dark type, and even normal types. So, going into drafting for Shedinja, these are some things that I wanted to get to maximize the potential of Shedinja. I want to minimize the number of Pokemon that share weaknesses. That is the listed types there: Normal, Rock, Fairy, Water, Poison, Dark, Ground, Electric, Dragon, and Cinderace, because Cinderace can be any of those, except Fairy and Dragon. And Rock. I did break down my draft board to exclude anything that shared weaknesses with Shedinja. I don't want to include it here because it actually left me with 170 Pokemon to pick from, of varying power. And I only included the ones that were actually usable. Some other things I wanted to consider: type-changing moves such as Soak or Magic Powder. Magic Powder does not exist because Hatterene is banned, but there's lots of Soak Mons. Electrify is also a move to consider. I believe that's only on Boltund. Anti-Weather to get rid of Sand and Hail. That includes Drizzle, Drought, of which there's only full picks. Drizzle, Politoed went very early, but Cloud9 is a good way to cancel weather. Anti-Status, we got Misty Terrain, we've got Safeguard as mentioned previously. And just in case Shedinja gets sniped, I want to start off my team with some good Mons, so that if Shedinja's not there, I still have a usable draft. So I started my draft with Raikou at the 10th pick. Good stuff, number 1. As you see its stats over here. Very fast, very strong specially, good special bulk, and even decent defensive bulk with a usable attack stat. All around great stats. It's one of the fastest Mons available. It's slower than your Barrascudas, your Unburdened Mons like Hitmonlee, Ninjask, and Excelgor, and Naganadel. I think that's it. Otherwise, it's Raikou. It's got good support moves: Snarl, Bulldoze, Screens, Thunder Wave, among others. It's got good coverage, Scald, Shadow Ball, and good physical moves such as, Iron Tail. Bulldoze can actually be used offensively sometimes. And as I said before, it enables me to get a good team together if I get sniped by Shedinja. This isn't obviously part of a Shedinja plan, it's just obviously part of a good plan. Followed that up by picking Alcremie. There are around 10 usable fairy types in this draft. You could probably argue up to 12. So getting a good fairy type fast was paramount for me. It has Decorate. It again has great all-around stats. The speed is a little middling, but it's got huge special bulk. Very good special attack stat. A little bit lower defense, but that's still usable. It's got fire and grass coverage moves, which, as I will get to into later, I need those moves. With its ability Aroma Veil, it stops Taunt, or the other one, which stops Sleep, I forget what it's called. It has Entrainment, which will also come in very handy later. And it has like just an absurd number of setup moves. Acid Armor, Calm Mind, some other ones I don't remember off the top of my head. And it has Recover, so if you can't take this thing down quick, it can just sit on you. And it also has stored power for that setup. And again, just another good mod. Like, I can just decorate Raikou. That's already a good combo right there. And then I got Shedinja. Refer to the start of the presentation on why I want Shedinja, but it can also sit beside Raikou while Raikou just clicks Discharge, provided the opponent doesn't have Wide Guard. After that, I got Carbink, which is another good fairy type, so I have 2 out of the 10 usable fairies on my team. Oh, another thing I didn't bring up, there are not many fire or steel types available, which makes fairy types just that much better in this Daddy Plan Part 2. This gives me my first Trick Room setter. It has hilarious bulk. It also has Guard Split if I wanted to get something like Chansey. I have something way more usable than Shuckle. And I have Body Press. Body Press coming off of base 150 defense. Sturdy, so nothing can one-shot me. Probably a steel type attack since I got that 4 type weakness, or Clear Body if I ever want to do like speedy weakness policy Carbink, which sounds ridiculous, but when the power level is this low, it's possible. And of course, Ally Switch shares no weaknesses with Shedinja, so I can Ally Switch around that. Plus a steel type coming into Carbink, I Ally Switch with Raikou out there. Raikou eats steel type attacks for breakfast. Into my 5th pick, I got my Misty Terrain setter. Galarian Weezing is actually the only terrain setter other than Grookey available in this draft. Misty Terrain, as I said, helps Shedinja, no burns. Also helps the rest of the team with no sleeps or poison or anything. It's got Levitate if I don't want Misty Terrain to help itself, and it has Neutralizing Gas, which is good against some other teams, like the Politoed team, for example, and it will also be good for me in the future. Obviously, I'm not going to run this with Shedinja, but it's got 2 other good abilities that I can run with Shedinja. There were some jokes in the Discord when I picked this, but like, I don't need to run Neutralizing Gas, guys. Come on. It's got great all-around stats, once again, hilarious defensive bulk, 2 good attacking types. It's kind of lacking on the physical moves. It does have Explosion, it has Gyro Ball, it has Play Rough, that's enough. No poison physical moves, which sucks, but very large special move pool. Heat Wave, Thunderbolt, Sludge Bomb, Dazzling Gleam, Strange Steam, which is cool, and I'm really just taking all of the good fairies. Outside of Sylveon and Mimikyu, I'd say I have the remaining 3 of the top 5 fairies. Maybe not Togepi. Maybe Spritzy, just for popping. Next pick was Golduck. Once again, all around good stats. The only one below 80 is 78. It's pretty fast enough for this format. Doing some looks at the other teams, this thing is, still in the top 5 fastest mons in the matchup. Good attacking stats on both sides. I can run it physical or special, and all around good bulk. Currently, I am pretty weak to steel outside of Shedinja and Raikou. So this gives me help with the steel weakness and the ground weakness. Obviously, doesn't resist ground, but it helps me with something that'll hit ground types. And it's got lots of shenanigans, which is great for a Shedinja team. Soak, as I mentioned early in the video. Simple Beam pairs well with those setup moves that I mentioned on Alcremie, or even a Calm Mind Raikou. Hypnosis, Yawn, Psych Up to pair with Simple Beam, Encore, always annoying. And after all that, we've got Cloud9, so I don't have to worry about Hail. I don't have to worry about Sand. And then we get to the Regigigas. This is the first obvious combo that you have to prep for. Weezing plus Regigigas. If you don't prepare for it, you're just going to die, because this thing has the highest unassisted attack stat available. Take that, Tay. It is hindered by its own ability, the terrible slow start. But if I can just get it on the field for 5 turns, I don't even need Weezing. Which, with these defenses, is definitely possible. You know, protect, substitute, ally switch with Shedinja. This is just a joke. I know Haxorus has 140-something attack, but with Weezing, this thing is just a monster. Even usable special attack, right? 80 is not bad. It's not great, obviously, but if I need to in a pinch, I could do, you know, wide guard plus a special move plus body press or something, because it gets that, and that doesn't use the attack stat, so I don't care about slow start. And just throw in like a Giga Impact for when he's done slow starting. And I've got wide guard if I ever need it. You never know. I'm excited to use Regigigas. This thing is just a behemoth. Following that up, I got Sandaconda. Once again, great all-around stats. A little bit low on the special bulk. The speed does seem low, but I've got Glare. Max speed, I don't even need max speed. But basically, everything paralyzed will be slower than Sandaconda, other than your unburdened mons, or your swift swimmers. It's got Sand Spit to override the weather. Obviously, that doesn't help with Shedinja, unless I have safety goggles, but it will help against the Hail team, which is in my conference. Again, helps with my general steel weakness from all my fairies. Obviously, once again, it doesn't resist steel, but it does super effective damage into steel. And it's another mon that I can just plop beside Raikou, so I can just spam discharge. And with the simple beam I mentioned earlier, I've got Coil, I've got Iron Defense Body Press. This thing could be a beast. And not listed here, but with a Misty Seed plus Misty Terrain, I don't even care about the special defense. Drampa! We got another Cloud 9 mon to help out Shedinja and my first dragon. You know, I've got 2 ally switchers that are immune to dragon type moves, so that could be a good pairing with Drampa. Cloud 9 for the weather again, Safeguard to help Shedinja if I don't want to bring Misty Terrain. Got Sap Sipper to protect Golduck and Sandaconda. Once again, great all-around stats. Awesome Trick Room mon, probably one of the best in the format because of the lack of mons that are slower than this. I think there's only some base 30s that are even in the pool. But decent bulk, a massive special attack stat. If I don't want to use Cloud9 or Sap Sipper, I got Berserk to boost that even further. As I mentioned before, the Dragon of Fighting weaknesses doesn't matter. I've got so many fairies. And the move pool. Go watch the Jordan VGC's video on Drampa. He's got an entire video on this thing. It's really all you need to watch to understand why I picked this. Also has Glare. Fun fact. I got 2 Glare mods. So my 10th pick, I picked Beheeyem. It's my first shared weakness with Shedinja, Ghost, and Dark. Everything else does not share a weakness with Shedinja. And it's yet another thing that can stand beside Raikou Discharge because it has telepathy. It gives me a second Trick Room setter. Carbink is very defensive, but Beheeyem is much more offensive with 125 special attack. Still good special bulk, and still decent defensive bulk. And once again, a good speed tier for this format. We've got some good setup potential. Got Calm Mind, Cosmic Power, Meteor Beam, Nasty Plot, and Recover. You know, pair that with a Simple Beam. Cosmic Power, Simple Beam, I'm at +2/+2 in 1 turn. That seems pretty good. And we've got good supportive moves as well. You know, we got the screens, Power Split, Guard Swap. If I want to like buff up this and then just swap +4/+4 onto Regigigas, that would be fun. I expect this thing to put in some work. And my last pick, Electivire. I had a lot of points left over. Nobody else did. So I picked this yellow teddy bear. It's It's my second combo that requires prep because of Discharge Raikou and Motor Drive. This is the fourth Pokemon I have that can just stand beside Raikou clicking Discharge. So I could very conceivably, if you don't have a ground type, just slap on a Specs and click Discharge all game. Or a Scarf. Probably don't need a Scarf though. With one speed boost, it's faster than everything in the format, other than the Unburdens again, but even in that case, Discharge has a pretty good chance to paralyze at least one thing. It's got amazing physical coverage, it's got all the punches, it's got fighting, it's got rock, ground, steel, basically everything you'd possibly want. And it's got great all-around stats, except for the defense. Which, even still, that's not terrible. If I need to live something, I can just buff that up. And usable special attack as well. You may have noticed I said great all-around stats quite a bit. And just look at these numbers. Those four average out to a 90. A little bit higher. The speed average doesn't really matter, but I got good fast mode. I've got good slow mode. And even including the 1 HP, 45 defense, 30 defense, 30 special attack, my base stats are still that high. Like, that's bonkers. Here's another random team picked from my division. You know, -9, -6, -10, -14 in the stats, and even lower HP even though I have a 1 HP mon. Somehow I ended up with this absurdly big number team, and I love it. And the typing is not really that bad. The most important thing I want to note: Dark, only the Beheeyem; Ghost, only the Beheeyem with 2 immunities, and also 3 resistances to Dark because of my fairies. Rock, no other weaknesses, 1 resistance. And where's the Fire? Fire, no other weaknesses, and 3 resistances. So this is about as good of a Shedinja counter typing that you're going to get. I had to pick Beheeyem because there weren't any other trick rumors available with my criteria of typing. We do have some obvious weaknesses, as I talked about already, the ground weakness and the steel weakness. Nothing here actually hits steel for stab super effective other than Sandaconda. And on this side, ground, it's only Golduck. But at the same time, there aren't that many great ground types, in my division at least, and there's definitely not many great steel types. Ice I'm not too worried about, except the Hail team. The Hail team will be tough, that's for sure. Because he can just spam Blizzard at me, or Freeze Dry. Some cons, as I said, could struggle with ground and ice types. I have no Fake Out, which I really don't like, but Fake Out was in very low supply. My only form of fast speed control is Raikou, or like a Icy Wind Regigigas, which is obviously not good. I could be beat by slower Trick Room modes. I haven't looked in depth at them, but they certainly could exist. And I only have 1 mon that knows Knockoff, and I think only 2 that know Trick. And there's lots of VBL-8 mons on other teams that could be hard to get around, such as Spritzy or Fungus. So back to the beginning, drafting for Shedinja. Here's what I wanted to do: minimize the number of Pokemon that share weaknesses. I got 1. Type changing moves, I got Soak. Anti-Weather, 2 Cloud 9 mons. Anti-Status, I got Misty Terrain, and I got Safeguard. And I got good Pokemon first. I got Shedinja with my 3rd pick after getting Raikou and Alcremie. So I think I did a pretty good job of making a Shedinja team. And it actually accidentally turned into a good Raikou team, which is going to be fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Shedinja.